You, Morgan. You're out of the doghouse now.
Yes.
All right. So a couple things. One is, and I'm sure you guys all know this because you're the high achieving students because you're here tonight. But you should be done with the first two modules, that is topic one, and the first 4 assignments. The first one was the scavenger hunt. The second one was the intro video. The third one was your contact information. And the fourth one didn't have a number. It was just the research consent. We will not be doing 4 assignments ever again, I think. So that was just to get us started here. So this week, I don't know about you guys, but I am on the next topic, which is supply and demand. There is one assignment that's important. Supply and demand is important because it's the first formal model that you're going to learn. It's also important because it may be the most useful model that you learn. And it's certainly the one that you're going to remember longest because it's fairly intuitive. And it's really, really, really important that you learn it.
Leave it in the
Okay.
Whoa. There it goes. Whoa.
Whoa!
Who's
that? Who are you guys?
Caroline, Margot.
Margot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I know about you.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, that's a thing. Did you guys get done with practice or something?
Yeah, we just got done.
Nice day out there, huh?
It was hot. Yeah.
Good day for running?
Never a good day.
Okay, yes, that's okay. It's fine. And what position do you play? Goalkeeper?
No, she plays in the midfield and I play left back.
Well, I used to play left back, just saying.
Is that how you know me?
But what's that?
I said, is that how you know me?
No, I don't think so. But seriously, I mean, certainly the midfielders have to run. And back when I played, it was expected that the backs would run as well.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I could talk soccer for a long time, but I digress. So let's get back to work here. Okay, so the next assignment is going to be with your study group. I'm going to make a prediction here. Margot is looking panicked here. That wasn't the prediction. So I know I asked you if you guys to let me know if you wanted to work together. I got a total of 1 pair of people who said they wanted to work together, and they are the best. Yes, it's Courtney and Morgan. I love it when students do what I tell them to do. I love it especially because it happens so rarely. So thank you. Anyway, so I'm going to give you guys until Saturday, not you guys, because you're already there. So if you want to work with somebody, Saturday, I'm going to put together the study groups. Let me know by Saturday if, say, we want to have a study group. Okay. It's not required. And if you want to speak to me privately and say, I do not want to work with her, just let me know. Okay. So anyway, so that's where we are. Okay. So the homework that's coming up will be, I will assign it this weekend and you'll have a week to do it. So there'll be plenty of time there. So the hard part with the homework is often connecting with your study group. If you happen to be sharing a camera, that makes it easier, I suspect. And also, that's why I asked the question on the third assignment, if it's okay to share your contact information. Because we were told by our administration that it violates your privacy rights if we, tell you what each other's cell numbers are or something like that. But if we don't, it's really hard for you to get together. Okay. So anyway, so that's where we're going soon. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about what you guys reported on your module analyses. If you remember from the homework and class participation page on Canvas, every week you have an opportunity to earn some easy points for your homework grade. And you do that by turning in a module analysis. This is really easy to do. All you have to do is send me an email and tell me what parts of the topic, the various modules, you didn't completely understand. Okay. So if you do that, you get the points, and I get something more important. I get to know what you guys are struggling with. And then at the very next weekly hangout, I will spend time talking about those things. And so what we're going to do tonight is talk about the things that you reported as having trouble with. So, make sense, hopefully? Good, good. All right, so let's do that. Let's start with the basics. What is opportunity cost? In your own words, what is opportunity cost?
Basically, it's whatever. We'll say if it's like in a manufacturing type of deal, it's like basically if they want to manufacture a good, it's the cost to them to make it.
And how do we measure that cost?
Couldn't tell you.
Anybody?
Isn't it what we give up, like when we make a choice?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
You know, opportunity cost is what, you know, we live in a world of scarcity. For probably all of us, we have a budget, so we can't buy anything we want because dollars are scarce. And so the opportunity cost simply means what can't you buy because you spent those dollars on your first choice. So what was your second choice? Okay, or more precisely, the opportunity cost is the value of what you don't get because of what you chose. Okay, so it's a really simple but powerful idea. All right, does that make sense? Some of you are looking like you're not totally sure. Sammy, how about you?
Oh, it makes sense. I was writing down what you said.
No, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. So I have Robert to blame for you taking my class?
Yeah, Robert said you were really good. I tried it in the fall and I didn't really understand.
Oh, well, you were just in the wrong section. That's all. All right. Okay. So we can visually see opportunity cost in a number of ways. Okay. The first way is with a consumer's budget line. Okay. What is a budget line? What can you say about that? Anybody remember?
That nothing can go above the budget line.
Yeah. The budget line just shows all the combinations of goods that you can afford with your budget. So what you can afford depends on how big your budget is, and it depends on the prices of the things that you like to buy. All right. So the line itself is a picture that shows what your budget possibilities are. Let me show you one from the book. So let me quickly share my screen here. And can you see the calculating opportunity cost there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I chose this only because it has a nice graph to it. And one thing that it's hard for me to do on in these Zoom meetings is to draw graphs for you in real time. Okay. So we've got two goods here. We've got burgers and we've got bus tickets and we have a budget. Okay, the budget's $10. If you spend all of your $10 on burgers, and burgers cost $2 each, 10 divided by 2 says you can buy 5 burgers. That puts you right here on the graph, right? Now, what's the problem with that point? What's the opportunity cost of spending all your money on burgers?
Bus tickets.
Yeah, it means you can't afford any bus tickets. Okay, so we can tell the story another way. We can say if you spend all of your money on bus tickets at 50 cents each, and 50 cents goes into your budget of $10 20 times, then you could afford 20 bus tickets, but then you would get no burgers. So what most people do is they divide up their budget between the different things that they want to spend. And the graph that shows that is the line that goes from A to F. Okay, so what this means is that you can afford anything on or inside the line, but you can't go out here because that takes more than $10, and you don't have $10, and we don't let you borrow money. Okay, so you're going to want to be on the budget line here somewhere. Okay. I'm getting some feedback from somebody, so if you could mute your mic until you have something to say, I think that'll be better. Okay. So so let's look at a point like B. Okay, at a point like B, suppose we want more bus tickets. At B, you can see by going down here that we've got 4 bus tickets. All right. Suppose we want 2 more. So by going to C, we go from 4 bus tickets to, 8 bus tickets. So we get 4 more. Sorry about that. Okay. But the thing to notice about the budget line is the only way you get more bus tickets is by giving up what? Burgers. Right. Okay. That's what the downward sloping line does. Is the only way to get more of one good is to give up another good. Okay. Economists have a saying, which is there's no such thing as a free lunch. Okay. And what that really means is every single choice has an opportunity cost. You may not have to pay for it, but somebody does. Okay. So the question is, what is the opportunity cost of going from 4 burgers to 8 burgers? And the answer is, well, at 4 burgers, 4 bus tickets to 8 bus tickets. I misspoke there. The answer is at point B, you have 4 burgers. At point C, you have only 3 burgers. So to get 4 more bus tickets, you have to give up a burger in the process. Okay. Another way to think about that is to say it's just the rise over the run. So one of the things nice about a budget line is the slope of the budget line literally measures the opportunity cost of whatever's on the x-axis here. Okay. Now, before you get too wound up, because some people did, again, not you, because you guys are the high achievers. This is what we're taking is an econ class, not a math class. So I'm not going to ask you questions on any of the exams that require much in the way of math calculations, very little math calculations. So if you had trouble getting the right calculation for opportunity cost, don't worry about that. As long as you really understand the concept, you'll do fine. Okay. Does that make sense? And the reason why I do that is two things. One is if my tests consist of math problems, then students who are good at math can do well on the tests, even though they don't understand the economics. So that's not right. And similarly, students who understand the economics but have trouble with the math, they're not going to do well on the test. And so the test isn't doing a very good job of identifying who's learning and who's not. So it just makes more sense to me to use math as a tool, using a graph as a picture to kind of illustrate the story, but it's really the concepts that are important to me and therefore important to you. Okay, so to get more bus tickets, you have to give up burgers, and the slope of the budget line is, in fact, the opportunity cost. Okay, and the opportunity cost, we said, is 1/4. Give up 1 burger to get 4 more bus tickets. Okay, and so the opportunity cost is 1/4, 0.25 in this case. And the reason why that's the case is that burgers cost 4 times as much as bus tickets. So the ratio is going to be 4-to-1 or 1-to-4, depending on which way you're going, which way you're looking at it. Okay, if we went the other way, to get 1 burger, we have to give up 4 bus tickets. So the opportunity cost of a burger is the 4 bus tickets you have to give up. The opportunity cost of a bus ticket is the 1/4 burger you have to give up. Okay, they're always going to be reciprocals that way. All right, any questions? The half of Jordan's face Morgan's face that I can see seems to be clear. I know, it's okay, it's okay. Don't strain your neck on my account. Okay, now moving right along.
You know what Mr. Barr did?
What is
So Mr. Barr
a production possibilities curve?
there in the bush. Just being there. Except I was
Okay, that's not a rhetorical question. I want somebody to answer.
sorry.
I wrote down that it's like a diagram that shows the productivity. Like, what did I write? Productivity efficient combinations of 2 products that our economy can produce.
Okay, that's a good answer. You know, the only reason I'm hesitating is because it sounds kind of technical. But let me explain it this way. What a production possibilities curve shows, or it's also called a production possibilities frontier, it's the same thing. What a PPC shows is pretty much the same as what a budget line shows. It shows what the trade-offs are, but not for a consumer, as in this case. Rather, it's the trade-offs for, wow, that's pretty loud. The trade-offs that, say, a nation faces. Okay, so let me switch over to that picture. Production possibilities frontier, here we go. All right, so again, it's the same story as we were telling before, okay, except now, instead of budget, we're talking about real resources, things like how large is the labor force, how much equipment do we have to work with, how many raw materials, right? So every society can choose to produce healthcare or education or any other goods and services that societies produce, all right? So the way we figure out the graph is we do it just the same way we did with the budget line. We say first, suppose we spent all of society's resources producing healthcare, then this is how much would be produced at point A, but then we would have nothing for anything else like education. Alternatively, if we used all of society's resources to produce education, we could be at a point like F, but then we wouldn't have any healthcare or anything else, okay? So what a production possibilities curve shows is production possibilities. In other words, it shows the maximum quantity of outputs that a nation is able to produce given the resources that it has. Okay. Now, for reasons that we'll explain shortly, the curve is concave with respect to the origin, which just means it's bowed out. It's not a straight line generally. But the important thing to notice is the following. Courtney, suppose you're at point B, Courtney, and you want more education. What's the opportunity cost of going to point B?
Wait, can you repeat that? Sorry.
Yes. Okay. Suppose you're at point C, and as a nation, we decide that we want more education. Okay, so we want to go to point D. What's the opportunity cost of getting additional education?
A lot of
Say that again?
a lot of healthcare.
We would have to give up a lot of healthcare. Yeah. So in order to go from this much education at C to this much education at D, we gain a lot of education, but we would have to give up a whole lot of healthcare. So it's the same thing as in the budget line. To get more of one product, you have to give up the other product, or at least some other product. Okay. The size of the trade-off is going to be given by the slope between the 2 points on the curve that you're talking about. So in order to gain this much education, we're going to have to give up this much healthcare. So if you just think of the slope as rise over the run, it's this amount divided by this amount, right to the D point there. Okay. So just as the slope of a budget line shows the opportunity cost for a consumer buying, choosing more of one good and having to give up some of the other, so the opportunity cost for a nation is the same thing. Production possibility curve, or rather the slope of the production possibility curve, shows in order to get more of one good, how much of the other good you have to give up. Now, any questions before I move on? Not move on, but keep going. All right. So the one big difference between a production possibilities curve and a budget line is that the PPC is a curve and not a straight line. Okay? There's a really simple reason for that. Okay, here's the reason. With a budget line, you only have one scarce resource. It's dollars. Okay? With a production possibility curve, you have many resources in the real world, right? So because there are many resources, you end up getting a curve rather than a straight line. That's the short answer to what's going on here. Okay, now it's actually pretty profound what's going on here, because what it says is, if you think of the slope between A and B, and between B and C, and between C and D, and between D and F, the slope changes. The more education you get, the steeper the slope becomes. And the steeper the slope becomes, the higher the opportunity cost. So unlike a budget line, where the opportunity cost is the same no matter how many burgers or bus tickets you buy, and that's a lot of alliteration. With a budget line, the more you buy, the higher the opportunity cost gets. Okay, that's just a fact. So the takeaways here, again, are more of one good requires less of the other. The slope of the production possibilities curve measures the opportunity cost. And then the one extra wrinkle with a production possibilities curve is the more of any good you produce, the higher the opportunity cost becomes. That's it. All right. Any questions? If anybody looks really confused. Christine has her "I'm not confused" face on. That's good. Anybody? Hey, Caroline. Fun fact, Caroline.
I didn't know it. Yes?
Okay, fun fact.
Yes.
Who coached the women's soccer team at Mary Washington in the 1983 and 84 seasons?
Was he there then? Was his
No.
name Kurt?
No, he came next.
Was it you?
It was Greenlaw.
It was actually you?
Yeah, of course.
I guess that. I remember I didn't say
Yeah.
it. You
No.
did?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yep. All right.
That's
Well, I have dinner waiting. So if you guys don't have any questions, I'm going to run.
I got a question.
Sure.
So let's say someone did not do the module analysis that was due today.
Yes.
And I'm not saying me.
You're asking for a friend.
Oh,
I'm
I
asking
didn't
for a
do
friend.
that. So.
All right, since you saying I didn't do
I
it
was
either.
so mad.
Okay.
Yeah, so like, I think in the syllabus it says you can't make that up. I
Right.
think that's what it said.
Well,
How much is that
here's
worth?
the thing. If you want me to know what you're having trouble with, do a module analysis. All right. Even if it's late. I mean, the point of the deadline is that so during the Hangouts, I know what to talk about.
Okay.
So feel free to turn it in.
Okay, awesome. That was my only question. I think that's my only question. I feel like I had another question earlier, but I'll probably just email it to you. I can't remember what it is.
That works.
Sounds good.
Oh yeah. So on the assignments part, there's like all of these optional assignments.
Uh-huh.
Are they extra credit?
No, they're not. They're for your
Okay.
own help if you find them useful.
Okay, thank you.
Do we
That's-
turn them into you if they're completed?
You may.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, and then like, so with the quizzes, so that's what you got to pay for that thing, right? Obviously, I haven't done the quiz yet. I don't know if that's like a TMI. I did the modules, I just haven't done the quiz yet.
Okay. If you have access to the quizzes, you should do the quizzes because it's really helpful. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna do them.
And you have access to them now. You don't have to wait to pay. You can just start now. And when you get far enough along, you'll get a prompt and say, "Hey, dude, you got to pay for these eventually." So
Okay.
usually it's about 2 weeks in. So like soon.
Gotcha. For sure. I'm gonna get them done.
Yep. Sounds good.
Yeah, you get 2 quiz attempts, I think it says, and then you have to pay. That's the message that I got.
Wait, not all of us have those quizzes, correct?
No, well, only the cool kids do.
Ha!
Remember, no. Remember, I said this is kind of an experimental course.
I get worried that I'm not doing something.
You're not having to pay. How's that?
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
So I gotta pay because I'm not cool.
Jeremiah, you are so cool.
Oh no, some funny business going on.
Some funny business. Oh, Jeremiah, you're in the cool group.
Oh bad.
Yep. So.
I don't know about Matt.
Other questions?
So I'm not saying that this is the question I missed on one of the quizzes, but I'm a little confused about self-interest and when you are interested in helping other people, what that benefits.
So you're saying, how does helping other people fit into your self-interest?
Yeah, like,
Okay. Do you have a family?
well, yeah, like I understand the concept,
Right.
but and I don't want to say the quiz question in case other people have it
It's okay.
in their quizzes.
Right. Yes.
But it was saying like self-interest with family and friends, and like who does that benefit?
Right. Well, it benefits. The answer is it benefits a lot of people.
Okay.
Okay. But if you want to talk about the specific question, you can always take a screenshot of the question and send it to me, because
Okay.
I can pull up your actual quizzes, then we can talk about those specifically.
Okay.
But not Courtney. Courtney, think about all those hours of free time you're going to have.
I know. I feel like I'm missing out on something.
Fear of missing out. Isn't that a thing for your generation?
Yeah, I think so. It's like FOMO.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Other questions? All right, well then let's call it a night.